Well, thank you very much, Stefano, and thank you to Interpol for convening this meeting. It's a great honor for me, and it is actually good to be back. It was, I think it was in 2007, at the time of your third expert meeting in Ottawa, that I remember coming directly from the opening of the Charles Taylor case in The Hague to Ottawa to address that group. And as you all know, though I left to join the Obama administration after concluding the prosecution case of Charles Taylor, and my successor and team leader Brenda Hollis took over, we saw the conviction of Charles Taylor on all 11 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity this April, and a sentence of 50 years in prison handed down by the judges in May. Now subject to an appeal that'll be argued next month and resolved by next September. This case is one of many that at the international level have sent a very strong signal to all the world, and that is that no matter how great the individual, no matter how prominent their position, even chiefs of state, can be held to account, and that signal sent in that case followed earlier signals sent by the ICTR, where the Prime Minister the former Prime Minister of Rwanda was convicted of genocide and crimes against humanity. The cases at the ICTY, where former President Milosevic of Yugoslavia was brought to trial, and where individuals like Mr. Mladic and Karadzic are presently on trial. In my current job, I travel the world. Somebody asked me what it means to be an ambassador at large. They've heard of fugitives at large, and I said, well, it's a little the same. You're sort of on the run because of the law, but the particular cause that I champion is the effort to bring accountability for these crimes across the globe, to weave together a fabric that will assure that those that commit these crimes, those who do the crime, may indeed, as we say in America, have to do the time. And that does involve, last year I think I was on the road 224 days. This year, well, on the current trip, this is day 11 of 26, and I'll be leaving tomorrow for East Asia, and continuing on to several countries before I return to the United States in early December. But it's part of the reason that I travel so many places is that everywhere I go, I run into people who say, we need help in establishing justice here. We had crimes, sometimes in our past, sometimes in our recent past, where's the possibility of justice in our country? And it's a demand that's out there, I think an expectation on the part of victims that I think it's critical for all of us to work to fill so that we can achieve this dream that these crimes, these very serious crimes committed often in the course of armed conflict, often by very powerful individuals, often by people who think that impunity is their right, that these crimes will be brought to justice, and that the fugitives, the accused themselves, if they're guilty, will be punished. This afternoon I'll participate in a panel to talk about fugitives, and I really want to salute the great work that Interpol and Stefano Carvelli has done on the fugitive efforts. I know I've been involved recently with him and our ICTR colleagues on some crucial cases, and I really appreciate the way in which Interpol has become so active and so effective in drawing together law enforcement across this world and making possible the success in bringing these fugitives to justice. As my good friend Serge Brammertz noted earlier, they've been lucky, as he said, but it's more than luck, in bringing every single one of their fugitives to justice. They charged 161 people, and there's nobody out there that remains at large. We still have the challenge at the ICTR of 9 fugitives. 6 of them are cases to be transferred to Rwanda. 3 of them are to be cases, if those individuals are arrested, that will still be tried in Arusha at the international level. And as Michelle spoke of their 27 accused individuals, they have at least a dozen individuals that are out there that are fugitives from the law, and we cannot allow the perception to be there that people can commit these crimes and get away with it, that they can travel to various countries or various capitals and not face the certitude of arrest. But I'll talk about that to a greater extent this afternoon, and these are in regard to international cases. But what I want to talk about this morning briefly, and others have already heralded it, Serge did, that increasingly at the future, we are going to be turning from the international level to the national level. We've already had, I know historically, I see friends here from Argentina who began the work of prosecuting these cases even before it were done at the international level. But whether it's Bosnia or Serbia or the DRC, we see the importance of the national prosecution services and investigators in bringing these cases to justice, and the importance of sharing information, the importance of helping build each other's capacity at the territorial level is very real. But I also want to emphasize the importance of non-territorial cases, because I know when I was at the senior trial attorney and chief of prosecutions at the Rwanda Tribunal, one of the things that we worked on a great deal was trying to share our information with national authorities, of course with Rwanda, the territorial country, but also there were several hundred, at least I know the Rwandans have identified about 300 key suspects that have gone off largely to the developed world that are still being sought, and we've seen the incredible work beginning in Switzerland in '99 in their military justice system, and going on to Belgium, and I almost hate to go through the list of countries because I might miss one. It's now, I think, almost up to a dozen countries that are prosecuting these cases at the national level. And certainly as I try to put myself in the mind of one of these war criminals or leaders, certainly in the past they had the perception that they were going to get away with it, that it was either going to be heads they win and they kept power and they kept their wealth by reason of committing these atrocities, or if it came up tails, they would go off to a safe and comfortable exile somewhere. Well, that's not possible anymore. Now they're looking at the possibility that when they go to a country where they may already have a family, gone to school, or cousins or others that are there, and they're thinking they're going to be safe there, that's no longer the case. And that perception that there will be no safe haven, I think is critical to what we want to create, which is this idea that you really can't get away with these crimes. And I would note that these non-territorial cases are not just in the north. I've recently, last month in Senegal, working with our new Minister of Justice on the prosecution of former Chadian dictator Hissène Habré, who finally now, I think we can say with certainty, will be tried in Senegal. The budget has been raised of around 8 million euros, and teams are being created. An agreement has been signed with the African Union to establish the extraordinary African chambers in the courts of Senegal to try Habré, to appoint 2 international judges at the trial level and 2 at the international level to overcome problems with the retroactivity of the Senegalese statute and other immunities that Habré may have. And they're proceeding with this case. All of this is, as I say, part of building this fabric. We know in our national systems, those of us that are fortunate enough to have effective systems of law enforcement and of justice, that when it comes to ordinary crimes, the prospect of having our house broken into or being attacked and robbed or even killed on the streets, the other ways in which we face dangers in our community, that risk is always there in the nature of humankind. But we know that effective investigation and law enforcement and response and justice that convicts the guilty and doesn't let the innocent suffer, that is so important to making our lives safe and secure, and making it possible for us to raise families and build businesses and hope for the future.